Well, a very warm welcome once again. Hi, it's Kasim. My name is Kasim, I should say. I hope all is well. So I've got a really interesting question that I saw online that I wanted to give some answers to that I thought might be a little bit useful for those of you who are going through a situation in your life at the moment where you perhaps are having to start again. So I'll begin with a question and we'll go from there. So the question says, it's entitled Starting Back at College. This is on the student forum. And the question says, hello, I am turning 17 this year and I just moved back to the UK after 6 years, meaning that I don't have any GCSEs whatsoever. I would love to start college here in Nottingham doing a barbering course since I have a passion for cutting hair, but I simply don't know what to do or where to start. Any help would be greatly appreciated because I'm just so lost. I would accept any sort of help. Thank you very much. Actually, he says thank you. So technically, not thank you very much, but rather he says thank you. So I wanted to give some advice. As many of you know, I've worked in a school before. I'm currently about to qualify to be a psychotherapist, and I'm already a qualified hypnotherapist. I work for a company at the moment where I go into schools, colleges, and universities and share with them about things about mental health. So doing that, I get lots and lots of questions that are asked to me all the time, but I can never answer those questions because I'm usually doing workshops and I'm busy and we're short on time, which is why I decided to start answering some of your questions here on this platform because I know that it seems I've lived quite a unique, crazy kind of life, and you guys seem to appreciate some of my perspectives. So let me share with you Archie, maybe is that how you spell the name or pronounce the name Archie 10? What I would personally do if I was in this situation. Remember that I'm not giving you this advice based on me being a psychotherapist. I'm just giving you this advice being as if I was your friend, as if I was a family member, and I'm just genuinely just talking to you about this subject and just sharing what I would do if I was in your situation. Remember, like anything that I always tell people, this is your life. Whatever advice that I give you and whatever thoughts that I share with you, ultimately, you have to be the one who makes the decisions about what you want to do with your life. Whatever I say is only my own experience and what I've learned, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So I always say to people, just extract the principles, extract the fundamentals, the things that you sense intuitively seem to make sense for you, and then disregard anything that you don't think is useful. So the first thing that I would do in this situation is that I would go to Nottingham. So there are two colleges in Nottingham. There's Nottingham College and there's West Notts College. I would go to both of their websites initially because I'm guessing if you put this online, then you have access to the internet. Again, that's an assumption. You might not have access to the internet, but I'm hoping you do have access to the internet, in which case I'll go onto their websites and just look at their courses. But don't just look at the barbering courses, look at all the courses that they have on their website and just go through a process of extraction. Meaning, there's two things that I would personally consider. One, I would look at anything that requires academics and disregard those because at this particular point in time, if anything, you need GCSEs, then you're at this current point in your life, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Not saying that you won't be able to in the future, but currently where you're at, I do not believe that you'll be able to do anything about it. So I would look at all the courses that are vocational, meaning that it's about the interview and it's about coursework and it's about who you as a person and your personality and it's about your skills rather than your academics. But I wouldn't just look at barbering, I would look at all the courses that are on that website and then look at the criteria that is required and just begin to get a sense of what feels most right for me. I love the fact that you've already identified that you have a passion for cutting hair. That already gives you a head start over most people. You've already figured out at 16, turning 17, nearly 17, that this is something that which you would like to pursue. But the reason why I'm saying this to you, and I'm highlighting, sorry, I just shake the table then. The reason why I'm saying that you want to look at all the courses is because as people, we change. right? What I was doing when I was 17 and what I wanted at 17 is completely different. And what you want to do is that you want to have a long runway for your future. In other words, you want to begin to start thinking about building a vision. Many years ago, I spent a lot of time studying people who are highly successful. And one of the keys and one of the principles that I learned from them is that you don't want to have goals that are too small, because then you have nothing to grow into. Right. And once you achieve them, you're going to lose motivation. So you want to have a goal that's almost impossible. That is right at the edge of your capacity, that is going to push you. That This is the way that I wrote a book, a goal setting book. And the way that I put it in this book is, whatever goal that you set yourself or whatever vision that you're building for your life, it has to be worth it, because there are going to be obstacles that are going to get in your way and that are going to stop you. And if you're going to go through these obstacles and you're going to develop new skills and you're going to have to work hard and you're going to have to make sacrifices, the goal best be bloody worth it. So as you start thinking about your future, start thinking about what kind of goal would you, or vision or future would you need to be doing, or would it look like, where you would say, are all these sacrifices that I have made are worth it? That's what I mean by that. So go onto the college websites, have a look at the courses, look at the vocational courses, and disregard the ones that require academics. Two, I would begin to start to go there. I'd literally go to the colleges and speak to them, get the perspectives, prospectus, look around the college. To me personally, as Kasim, I really couldn't give a shit about which college I went to, because for me, back in the days when I was younger, the only thing that I wanted to do was become successful. And it didn't matter where I was. That's why I've had in total up to today 28 jobs. Because for me, it didn't matter what I did as a job. All that mattered is that I had momentum, that I was heading and stepping towards my goal. And so I would go there to the college, but secondly, I would start preparing for the interview. Preparing for the interview means that I would start based on the criteria that you've read on the website or in the brochure about what is required in order to get a place at the college. I would start aligning yourself in order to meet that criteria. Meaning, if they say write an essay on barbering, what I would say to you is, start writing that essay now. I know you haven't got the interview, I know you haven't got the place, but start writing it now. If you know that they're going to want a portfolio of you having did some barbering, do you know what I would do? I'd go down the local barber shop and ask them if I can just come in for 2 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday or any day, and just learn how to cut hair and just listen and just watch, and I will clean the floor, whatever. But I'll get to that in just a moment. But what I'm trying to say is, start, if it is haircutting, barbering that you've chosen, start getting yourself in the mind frame and the mindset that is going to be required to be successful, right? But also attached to this is, I would not earlier on I was saying you want to begin to build a bigger vision for yourself. I would not limit yourself to simply barbering. I would expand my vision of cutting hair. Don't make the goal being a barber, make the goal helping people to feel better about themselves, or to transform themselves, or to support them in uh, in looking and feeling better. And the vehicle that you're going to use is haircutting. The reason why I'm saying this to you is because you might find down the road that actually the people who you can help and support the most may not be men, it may be women, it may be ethnic minorities. You may go to a barber shop and everybody in your barber shop only knows how to cut English people's hair or white people's hair, but actually your specialization is that you're able to cut people who are from ethnic minorities, right? And now that makes you very, very, very unique indeed. So this is why I say, don't limit and just say, I have to become this kind of barber. Expand that and look at the core as being wanting to help people. The way that I explain it to some students is a lot of students say to me, Kasim, I want to make money, I want to become rich. And I say to them, you're looking at the wrong thing. The question that you should be asking is not how do I make money, the question you should be asking is how do I add value to people in such a way that they want to start paying me for the value that I'm adding to them. When you start to think from the point of view of value, how which is going to require you to actually either skill yourself or find a product or service of some kind. That way, you are then starting from a point of view of not using people, but rather being of use to people, adding value to their life. And this is how you begin to live a life of integrity because you are not going to be taken from people. This is where you become a leader. You're going to be adding to people's lives, right? You're going to be doing something which is reciprocal. You're giving someone something and you're getting something in return, which they believe is of equal value. So that's the other thing that I would begin to think about. I would also consider that there are bursaries and there is funding and there's loans that you can get. So if you're like Kasim, I don't have the money, ask one of your parents. If you don't have a parent or you don't have somebody who can go with you, because I know, I'm a realistic guy. There's some people who don't have anyone they can go with. What I would recommend to you is that you walk into the college yourself before the summer is over. They have sometimes, I know most colleges have open days. Go there and ask them about the bursaries, the funding, and the loans and how that would work. That's the other thing. The fourth thing is to gain experience, and I've already talked about this earlier on. Go and volunteer. And one of the things that you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to humble yourself. When one of the biggest things that stops people from succeeding and gaining momentum and becoming successful in life is that they don't want to be seen to be starting small. People, particularly in the Western civilization, we are so used to wanting to go from zero to the penthouse, from zero to millionaire. I say to you, remove that mindset. And if you remove that mindset, you're going to become humble. If you are a humble person, then I would say to you, go into every single barbershop within a 5 mile radius of your house and ask them if you can volunteer for free. Just say to them, I will clean the floors. I will come and watch. Like, just spend time in the area that you say you want to get into. But further than this is not only would I go into barbershops, I would go into salons, right? Now you talk about, oh, Kasim, I really want this. I want to grow. I want to expand. I want to build a long runway for myself so that I have a lot of room to grow and expand into. Don't just go to barbershops, go into salons, right? And ask them, can I watch? Can I spend 2 hours just watching how you cut hair and ask you questions, right? What can I do? I'm willing to do anything. You don't have to pay me, which also basically means that you're going to have to do something that most people don't want to do, which is that you're going to have to give your time and be of service to people without being paid for it. I've got to tell you, the average person does not want to give. They don't want to invest in themselves. That's how it actually is. You're investing in yourself. But the average person doesn't want to invest in themselves because they see it as, no, if I'm giving you something, you have to give something to me in return. But there is a principle of life which says that when you're a beginner and you don't have experience and you don't already have momentum, you do not have the bargaining power, right? What's that phrase? Is a phrase, the borrower is servant to the oh, what is that saying? Let me search it up. The borrower, the borrower is slave to the lender. That's a phrase. The borrower is the borrower is servant to the lender, meaning that when you don't have anything to bargain with, you just have to kind of go along with it. Now, obviously, you don't want people to take advantage of you. And so, for example, you shouldn't be working a full day or full time in a barber shop and you're not getting paid for it. But what I am saying is, doing 4 hours on a Sunday or 3 hours in the evening, or you're working 2 hours or an hour or half an hour, that's okay. But you don't want to be doing days and days where you're working for a barbershop and you're not being paid. Now, I personally would actually do it. because I am so interested in investing in myself and learning and soaking up everything that I personally, if you're talking to me as Kasim, I'll do it. I don't care. I was working, by the time I was 15, I was working. My first job was clean, was I was working in uh, a restaurant, and I was cleaning the pots. And at that time, I wasn't allowed to work more than 4 hours. So I was going there and cleaning the pots for 2 hours every day. That's it, right? And literally, I was cleaning the pots and cleaning the floors. I didn't care. I did not care because I wanted to succeed and I needed momentum and I needed experience. And the only way to get experience sometimes is you have to do the shitty jobs and you have to suck it up and actually, yeah, you are being taken advantage of, but you don't have any power yet to be able to leverage and use in your favor. So at the very beginning, you do kind of just have to do whatever it is that is being offered to you. You got to take whatever option and opportunities presented to you if you have nothing. What's that saying? One is better than zero, right? It's better to have some experience, even if it's not ideal, than no experience at all. That would just be my personal opinion, but you can do whatever you want. Um, the other thing is join a community, meaning I will be online on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, and on TikTok, and I will be joining barbershops, barbers. I would let you go on Instagram and join every single barbershop around where I live within a 5 or 10 mile radius of where I live and join them on there and just start watching what they do, right? In other words, study people who are successful. Whatever it is that they're doing, do that, right? And just begin to comment on them and begin to comment on their posts so that you began to get known, right? And this is now where you have to start thinking strategically. Winning isn't simply just brute force. Winning requires for you to be strategic and use tactics. You have to be smart to win. So when you are commenting on, you're going, let's say, for example, you say you want to going to join a barber shop or you want to go into a salon and you join their Facebook and you're commenting on their posts and saying how amazing they are. When eventually you do go onto their website or you go into their shop, you can start to say, oh, by the way, I was on your website and I was commenting and I saw this post on your Instagram and I thought it was amazing and I wanted to come in and volunteer and I thought do you understand what I'm trying to say? In other words, you're connecting everything. You're showing, if you're coming into my barbershop or you're coming into my salon, I want to know that you've done research. I want to know that you've chosen me specifically and you're not just a random person. And by the way, this brings me to another point which I want to point out to you. You're going to at some point have to go face to face with the barbershops or the salons. The best way to get volunteering or opportunities is to use your story or your personality. And I would not see, you probably see the fact that you've been abroad as a disadvantage. I disagree. I see the fact that you've been abroad as an advantage because now you've got a story. You've got a story because you've got an underdog story. People are going to look at your story when you're going in and you're like, hi, I've come in, I've been living abroad, I'm with my family, because you didn't really say why you're living abroad. But whatever, you explain to people the context of why you were abroad and you didn't have GCSEs and now you've come back and you absolutely love the fact that you want to do barbering or you want to work in a salon or you want to make people feel better and you were online and you saw their barbershop or you like their specific hairstyle, or let's say for example you've lived in India or Nepal and you're like, I've been in those countries and I can support and know how to cut Nepalese people's hair or African Caribbean people's hair or whatever type of hair. Now you're going in and saying, I can add value to you. I can come in with something that is unique that can support you. But I just need a foundation. I just need somebody to point me and mentor me and help me along the path. You start doing that. I'm telling you that you're going to get so much momentum and so many opportunities, you have no idea. But I promise you, do not do that thing that people do, which is that they just send out emails or DMs. Go into this barbershop, use your personality, use your story, use your enthusiasm when you go face to face to get these opportunities, and it's going to increase your chances of getting these dramatically. That's what I would say. So join the communities, online, join forums, whatever it is. The other is get tools. Okay, so earlier on I was talking about preparing and investing in yourself. You need to get raises. And the reason why I say this, which links to the second point, is that you've got to start practicing. If you say you want to cut hair, and that is a thing, you might want to do something else. And this is just the first thing. Remember, as we move through life, things are going to change, and what we want is going to change, and our commitments are going to change. But if you're like Beyonce and you've discovered your thing, Beyonce discovered she wanted to be an entertainer from a very young age. And the reason why she was successful very quickly is because she discovered what she wanted to do at a very young age. If you're like that and your thing is you're going to spend the rest of your life helping people feel better, look better, and you're going to use cutting people's hair as your vehicle. If that is what you've decided, then you need to start investing in this area. And one of the things that you need to do is you've got to get um, razors. You've got to get beard trim thing. What do you call it? Beard trimmers. You've got to get clippers. You've got to get scissors. You've got to get knives, and you need these equipment because. Can you imagine if you walk into a salon and you say, "I've got my own equipment," but also it's going to look really good, but also you can then start practicing on friends and people, right? And if you say, "Oh, Kasim, I don't have anyone to cut," put it on your Instagram, put it on your Snapchat, put it in just ask people, say to people, "Oh, I want to get into cutting hair. I'm willing to cut anyone's hair who doesn't mind. And here's where it looks amazing. I've already got the equipment," right? If you've already got the clippers or whatever, and you already have an advantage and one less obstacle. Now, you may not have the advantage, you may not have money, in which case, you know what I would do? I would start to use your parents or your carers and say, okay, I really want to buy these clippers. And here's the thing that I'm going to say. Don't think about having, don't think about the end product. Don't think about the iPhone. Think about the prototype of the iPhone, meaning look, you ain't going to be able to get the most expensive, best razors and cutters and all of that equipment in the very beginning. You just are not because you're at the beginning of your journey. Go secondhand. Go on Facebook Market and get a secondhand razor, right? Go somewhere cheap. You don't have to get the best razors in the very beginning because you don't have money and you're just starting off. And so use your parents and say to them, I've got saw this razor on Facebook Market. And again, you're gonna have to do a lot of this stuff, right? So you're gonna go on Facebook Market, you're gonna have to look at how much the razors cost roughly, and then go to your parents or your carers and say, I've seen this razor, it's £40. What can I do to earn money in the next 2 weeks or a week to earn £40? Not only is it going to look good, not only are your parents or your carers going to be proud, but people love supporting people who know what they want. And then once you gain that money in a week or 2 weeks or a month or for your birthday or whatever it is, you take the money and you get it, right? Now, here's the thing. You're going to have to be patient because you can't get everything all in one go. So if you don't have the equipment, you don't have the money, it's going to take a few weeks or a month. And I say in my book that I wrote about goal setting, I say that all true visions will be tested for authenticity. Meaning that if you truly say that you really want to get into cutting hair and you truly want to succeed and you truly want to help people, if you truly say that, the moment you decide that you are going to actually do it, every obstacle is going to come in your way. And the true test as to whether you want it or not is, do you overcome the obstacles? In meaning, do you grow beyond the obstacles or do you allow the obstacles to stop you? Obstacles are not there to stop you. Obstacles are there to test you to show that you truly say you want this, right? So the other thing that I would say to you is go online and watch tutorials as well. Go on YouTube, go on Snapchat, go on Instagram, watch how people are cutting hair. But don't just watch one style of hair, watch all styles of hair. Because what it's going to do is it's going to make you unique. When you go into that barber shop or you go into your course, you're going to start specialization. If you want to get to the top, you will need to have something which is a USP. You need to have something which is unique about you, something which separates you from everybody else. You basically want to be a shark in a lake, not a shark in the ocean, right? You want to be the king in a domain where uh, you are unique somehow, right? The predator in an area. Obviously, I'm using these words, but these words are quite extreme. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say. You basically, in the very beginning, want to start to build yourself so that you specialize, so that well, not in the very beginning, actually, technically. In the very beginning, you just need experience overall. But what I'm trying to say is, as you move forward, you need to start thinking about specialization and what's going to make you unique. Because what's going to make you unique is what's going to allow your money to go up more, like increase dramatically, and the more people are going to come to you based on the uniqueness of what you do. So specialization might mean like I only cut Nepalese people's hair, or I can cut Nepalese people's hair, or I know how to braid hair. Can you imagine if you work in a salon or in a barber shop and you're able to do cornrows, you're able to do braids? It makes you very, very, very unique. So that's what I mean. So I'll stop there. I don't know if any of this has been useful to you or not. I hope that it has. And I hope it's added some value to you. But thank you very, very much for listening. And as I say, I hope this has been somewhat of value to you. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff. And if you have any other questions, please comment or send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Thanks very much for listening, guys. I appreciate it. Bye for now.